let's begin, shall we? Shall we?
Oh, hello there. Another enthusiast, I presume. How good it is to see a fresh face here at the inventory.
Hey there, Evab Nation. Jesus Freak here, and before I get started with today's reviewable, I want to make something perfectly clear. I am a huge Telltale Games fanboy, and not just of their games. The company as a whole seems to consist of some really great game developers who not only make games their customers love, like me, but also seem to have a really fun time doing it. So, you know, they're awesome. Okay, that out of the way, let's talk about their latest release, Poker Night at the Inventory. In short, it's a video poker game of the Texas Hold'em variety. Now, I know what some of you are saying.
Video poker? There's no depth to poker, man. No leveling, no perks, no prestigifying. It's simple playing cards. Harumph, I say.
And, well, technically you'd be right. As far as the gameplay is concerned, it's textbook high-stakes Texas Hold'em. You get some cards, you better fold, you get more cards, you better fold again, and then you see who wins. So I guess that means this game isn't worth your time, right? Wrong. Poker Night at the Inventory is fantastic, and what makes it fantastic is the way that it takes a relatively simple concept like a card game and then builds up a highly satisfying ambient experience around that concept until you have a game that actually feels more like a simulation of sitting around shooting the breeze with some hilariously awesome friends. Poker isn't the point, it's the excuse to hang out, just like it has been for real-life friends in basements across the country for years.
Hey, Dorktag, you can't be a video game fanboy without digging the complete library of Videlectrix titles, am I right?
I am a proponent of the classics, certainly.
Classic? I'm talking about Videlectrix's latest releases.
Like
Snake Boxer 6. Now the snakes have fists too.
that would make the snakes a greater threat.
That's the point.
Here's a fun fact. Poker Night at the Inventory isn't Telltale's first poker game. It's not even their first Texas Hold'em poker game. In fact, the very first release back in 2005 by the then newly formed developer was Telltale Games' Texas Hold'em. And looking at that game, it's easy to see that Poker Night is just as much an homage to the company's roots as it is a celebration of the featured characters. The interface, the across-the-table banner, even some of the humor are very similar. Although the execution in Poker Night is obviously much more polished and entertaining than its predecessor. But back to this game. The poker AI is pretty mild, although it is fun how each player has their own distinct playstyle. Tycho, as you would expect, plays it cool and conservative. The Heavy is aggressive, Max is more or less random, and Strongbad is ironically the more balanced player. And while it's a good-looking game with character art that remains faithful to the respective universes, if you will, it's the humor from the dialogue and voiceovers that really defines the experience.
You have hands like young girl.
I got a regimen, yo. I keep them moist.
So you are more of sneaky, stabbing type.
In an extreme circumstance, maybe. Or if someone's being a huge
I keep my eyes on you.
No. I wasn't implying...
I also really enjoy all the little touches they add in. Like when Strongbad gets eliminated, you'll see him wander off in the background and he may go over and play the Bluster Blaster arcade game in the corner. Or how you can see Max adjusting his tie in the background when you're first entering the inventory. It's little stuff like that that just really makes you smile when you're playing the game. Of course, after a few rounds, you will start to get some repetition in the jokes, one-liners, and banter. And since those are really the key selling point for the game, that's where it begins to break down. However, at a price of just $5, 20% of which goes to charity, by the way, you'll have already gotten way more than your money's worth at that point. There's quite a bit of unlockable content in the form of new tables, new card decks, and even some in-game items for Team Fortress 2, but unless you're a video poker fiend, you probably won't care to keep playing just for those. Like any other poker night, it's great fun while it lasts, and you'll definitely be bummed when the lights go out and it's time to go home.
I am defeated. This reminds me of a famous song from Motherland. You must know when to hold on to your cards, and you must know when to burn them in fire, because if you lose, you bring insufferable shame to Republic and are sent to a work camp in forest.
Now, don't get me wrong, if you have absolutely no interest at all in card games, then this probably isn't going to be for you, unless maybe you just happen to be a super fan collector for one or more of the featured characters. But if you fit into the cross-section of casual poker enthusiast, gamer, and web culture geek, then you're not going to find a better home for your Lincoln this holiday season than Poker Night at the Inventory.
The player wins the tournament!
Well, I suppose the other potential outcomes of this tourney had this money being spent on corn dogs, 8-bit video games, or bullets. All worthy purchases, actually.
How do we know you don't have a never-ending stack of aces wherever you put your gun?
Well, you don't, but you're welcome to look.